Such a nice day out, dude. Bro, I'm hyped. All right, baby. Walks with Cody and Cody, day 16, 17? 17. Dang, dude. It's so funny. This girl's like, get your steps in. Yeah, I was like, all right. That was funny.
Like we are.
Yeah, it's like, get your steps in for me. I'm like, all right. It's like when somebody dies and stuff, like when you got to tell somebody stuff like that, like that's the only thing that I think is more difficult than what we do is like when you're in the hospital and stuff, like, and there's irreversible, like that's just another level, you know?
There's no fixing it.
Yeah, never. No, like it's a car, bro. Like, you know, it sucks. And then like, it's a house. That sucks. When we're talking about death, now it's like, I have a lot of respect for those people, yeah. In the freaking hospital and stuff. You know what I'm saying, buddy?
Yep.
Dude, I'm so hyped up. I'm going to Vegas today, baby. Flying out tonight. Dude, I was saying like, I've been traveling so much recently, so I just like got back from Kentucky. Then where did I go? Oh, I went to Texas.
Yep.
Then I just got back from Texas. Now I'm flying out to Vegas.
Vegas is so fun.
Yeah. I like doing this like tight time frames where I come back, then I go, then I come back, then I go. Like that's kind of actually nice because it's not the worst. The only thing I don't like about it is the consistency. I like being consistent too, and I can't get on a routine. But also it feels like I'm like combining everything, and so I'm like got a lot to be excited about. So it's kind of fun there because it's just like, okay, I get to go back to work. I get to catch up, and I'm bam, 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 and then I go to leave, and then I'm like, oh man, I got to go here, and I'm packing everything. So it's kind of fun. Like I kind of like the chaos. It's kind of fun.
It's like organized chaos for you. It's like all scheduled. You just kind of like follow the script and just do everything. Yeah,
it's like Gary Vee. I don't know if you ever seen his stuff, but he's just like bam, 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 just goes from one to the next. So yeah, I love it. It is fun. I'm excited for Vegas, dude.
Yeah.
Excited for Vegas.
Hiking. Just going up that mountain, dude, and being outside.
Yep. It is nice.
And people's fun too, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I probably won't be outside much. It's gonna be freaking like 110. It's gonna be crazy, my friend.
You getting a walking pad?
I didn't get a walking pad, no. Probably. Might as well. Might as well get it, you know?
Have you seen my steps recently, dude? I've been getting like 19,000 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that feel?
I feel good. Like I've been running and lifting too, so like I feel like tired, but I also feel like I have energy.
Yeah.
At the same time.
100%.
Like my body's a little tired, but like
But mentally, yeah, it's like crazy because like now you know you're moving so much more, so then you feel better about yourself. You say, hey, dude, like I'm doing what it takes, and like you just feel good.
Exactly.
That's exciting, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
That's gonna freaking shed the weight too. I feel like when you're walking that much.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little ripped. Dude, somebody commented on my thing today. It was so funny. They were like, Brokeback Mountain. No, because I was on the horse like this. He's like, Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
I had a gay guy freaking reach out to me too. I blocked him because he was like, anyway, freaking weird.
Hitting on you a little bit?
Yep. Don't like that.
Don't like that.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I got no comment on that. Yeah, I just had a few things down. I was figured if you still wanted to talk about your speech with Jimmy, because I felt like you had a lot to talk about that day. Stuff on your mind.
Oh, I always got stuff on my mind. Cody's got the mindset of stuff on his mind. Let's see. You know what we got, my friend?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to go over belief really quickly. So belief is obviously first. I talked about Nathan Montaigne just having the belief that he was going to, you know, make a certain amount of money. And then when I saw somebody else that did the thing that I wanted to do, it made it that much more real for me. So that was the first thing that I did for my belief. And then one other thing that I would say to people is whenever you are getting financial advice from somebody, make sure that they've done it before. Like stop taking financial advice from broke people. It just doesn't make sense. So what we do a lot of times is we listen to our mom, our dad, our freaking sister, our aunt, our uncle. And guess what? They've never done it before. They have not made a lot of money. Like I think this is like a genuine question. I think it's okay. And actually I heard Brandon Dawson talk about this too, who works with Grant Cardone. Ask the people, what's the most amount of money you ever made? What's your net worth? Like, anybody that's ever done anything, like we feel really weird asking that, but that's a good gauge on if you should take financial advice from somebody, right? Like ask somebody what their net worth is. I've heard so many different financial advisors that tell me, well, you should invest in this, you should do that, you should do this. Okay, hey, thank you. What's your net worth? Okay, if your net worth is negative, and let's just say mine's decent, why would I take advice from you? And so a lot of times what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a commission and tell you to invest in these certain things because that's what they're going to get a commission on, not because it's actually a good financial decision. If they were actually financially literate, they should have a high net worth, in my opinion. So that's what I would say is like, if you're going to get financial advice from somebody, make sure that they actually are worthy of getting the advice from. So if you ever ask me what my net worth is, the amount of money I make in a year, stuff like that, I will be happy to share it with you. I will be happy to help give advice based on my experience. I'm not saying that's the only way. There's so many different ways to make wealth. And I'm not saying that I know the only way or like the way. I'm just saying I know a way. And it's based on results because it's based on what I actually have now. So if you want to get to a similar spot where I am, then I can help you to get there or tell you how I did it. So anyway, that's the other thing that I put that I think is very, very important. Just freaking ask the people what they've accomplished before you take advice from them. Last thing that I always get from Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of the best questions I've ever heard is instead of saying, can I afford this? So if you want a car, if you want a house, if you want, you know, a house in Florida, if you want whatever it is that you want, instead of saying, can I afford this, which is a yes or no question, ask, how could I afford this? And something that Grant Cardone and Rich Dad Poor Dad said is a rule that I really like as a rule, especially if you want to get financial abundance, is anything that you want that's a depreciating asset, just depreciating in general. So if you want a car, or if you want these things, ask yourself, how could I get this? And what they suggest is buying assets that would produce cash flow in order to buy those, because then what's going to happen is you're buying an asset that produces cash flow that's going to pay for the actual thing that you want. So while that thing is going down in value, the cash flow is still going to be there. And more than likely, the asset's going to be going up in value. So realistically, it's not going to hurt you. And it's just a better way for you to think about your mind. What a lot of people do is they go make the money and they just buy stupid stuff instead of buy something that creates a cash flow that now gets you the same thing you want. It's just a different step in between that's actually going to make sure that you always are wealthy. So I think that's a good suggestion and a good rule of thumb and kind of similar to what we do. But honestly, I don't even buy much. Like now I just got a car, but I've been doing real estate now for 6 years and I just now got my car.
Yeah.
First got my Rollie, now I got 2 Rollies. So I just started buying stuff just now, 6 years later, and not really, like I've been living very, very frugally. I still live in the same house. My expenses are, my expenses are, I kept my Toyota, so my payment's $350 a month on that. And then I have my house, which is $850 a month. Other than that, like I have a couple other houses in my personal name, but they're rented out, so I don't pay for them. So I don't consider that like, it still is my debt, but somebody else is paying for it. So the only debt that I really have that I'm responsible for is like $1,000 a month. So I keep my expenses extremely low, even while I'm making a lot of money. Like my expenses are below most people's, and I still make more than I would say most people, I guess. Sounds weird to say, but yeah, kind of is.
It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Thinking about that, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But besides like the business stuff and just your cost of living at home and your cars, it's probably cheaper than mine.
Yes.
Which is
I know.
insane. I
know. That's the way it's always been too. Even when I was in car sales, I was making $150K a year. My expenses were the same. Like my expenses were even lower actually than they are now, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. Now, my overall expenses, I mean, I probably spend $5 grand a month because like I freaking spend money on food. I spend money on like, I go out to eat a lot. And so,
yeah,
you know, I probably spend $600 a week just on going out to eat. Because like when I go out, I get whatever I want now. I used to not do that when I was working at the dealership. I used to order the chicken in $20 a meal or less, you know. Yep. Now I'm just like, I don't even care. Like now I'll spend the money on whatever, steaks and whatever I'm actually feeling like I actually want that day. Now sometimes whenever the prices are too crazy, I'm like, I still can't do it.
Yeah.
But if sometimes I get something that's crazy for the experience too. So if I'm out in Vegas and there's like this crazy steak with gold or something on it, it's like $150. I'm like, it's for the experience.
You try it.
Yeah, but I've always kept my expenses crazy, crazy low no matter what. So even when I was working at the dealership, it just kept everything super low until I got to a point where it just doesn't matter anymore. It's not going to actually affect anything. So I always tell people, like, percentage-wise, I think that your house expense should be right around 10% of what you make in a month. So that's just my perspective.
It's funny you were talking about this, keeping your cost of living like same regardless of how like wealthy you get. I was just listening to a video yesterday talking about the same thing.
Yep.
So it's funny.
It is crazy. It's all the same advice. It's This is what I tell people too. It's not intelligence that makes you wealthy, it's the discipline. And so everybody's like, I can afford it. Well, what does affording it actually mean? Like, what does affording it mean? To people, a lot of people, affording it means, how can I get this down to where I have $0 at the end of every month? That is not affording it. That is not affording it. It should be like, how can I do all this and still have money to save back and still getting the financial future I want? That is called affording it. Affording it is not breaking the numbers down to zero. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And so I've always been the person that no matter how little of money I made, I'm always trying to figure out how I could just save that little bit. So even when I was landscaping, dude, I saved up like, I mean, it sounds like crazy low now, but it was like $4 grand.
Yeah.
And like, you know, to last me in the winter time. But like making $12 an hour, saving up $4 grand while still living all on my own was pretty freaking difficult, but I still did it. So it's all about your spending and your habits and the discipline. It's not about intelligence. It's really not about intelligence. It's about the decisions and the discipline to make the right decisions. And stop telling yourself these freaking lies of, I deserve this, I can go get this. Sure, if you want to live like that, but if it's robbing you of your financial future, you got to be honest with yourself about that. And so that's what I had to be really honest with myself about whenever I had a car. Could I afford it? Absolutely. Was it robbing me of the financial future I wanted? Yes. So now I can buy these things and it's not robbing me of any future that I have. Now, technically, this is when I got really sophisticated. Technically, I believe in so much abundance that it's not really robbing me, but I still think it's good to create these different rules. That way you're not buying stuff too fast or too quickly and then you're putting yourself in a bad spot. So creating the rule of, okay, instead of just buying this car, yes, I could afford it and I know that there's so much financial abundance that I'll figure out a way to get an asset anyway. Just get the asset first to pay for the other depreciating item. I think it's just a good rule of thumb. Hopefully that helped you guys. Appreciate you watching on day 17 of Walks with Cody and Cody. Let's go.